Hi everyone and welcome back to Southside Dodge Rebels this week. As always, we've got plenty of great game highlights to show you. Greg Beecham from the Red Deer Advocate checks in for the first time ever, gives us his thoughts on this year's club. Jared Waldo is back once again to go in the corners and behind the scenes with some Rebels defensemen. We've got Train Like a Rebel, Skill Zone, and news and notes from around the Western Hockey League. So let's kick off today's busy show by winding back to last Tuesday night right here at the NMAC Centrium. The Rebels played host to the WHL's hottest team, the Kamloops Blazers. Bolton Pouliot, who has played some very quality minutes of late, would need to be extremely sharp against the league's top team. Hayden Fleury darts down the left wing side, drops it for Connor Bleakley. He knifes a backhand on net, which is easily handled by Blazers goalie Taryn Kozin. Fleury on the receiving end of a pass this time. His shot is turned aside. A sprawling Bleakley goes after the rebound but can't get a shot away. Blazers shoot from the point. Rebound sits loose in front of the net. Colin Smith finds it and slides it past Pouliot for a 1-0 Blazers lead in the second. Fleury again with the shot on net. Kozin gets a leg on it, then belly flops onto the loose puck before Stockel or Maxwell can even the score. Devin Fafford introduces himself to Cole Yulee with a big hit along the boards. Blazers double their lead when Tim Bozon takes the pass from Smith and goes far side past Pouliot. 2-0 Kamloops. Kamloops comes looking for more, but Pouliot makes not one, not two, but after a scramble, 3 outstanding saves to keep his team alive. Turner Elson tries to get his team on the board as he snakes through the Blazers slot before having his shot handled easily by Kozin. To the third period, J.C. Lapond comes oh so close to finishing off this tic-tac-toe. Dylan Willick fires on net. Pouliot tries to cover it up, but Chase Soto steals it and buries his first of the season. 3-0 Kamloops at that point. They put the final nail in the coffin a few minutes later when Bozon goes top shelf for his second of the game and 8th of the year. That would be it for Pouliot as Patrick Bartosak came on for the final 10 minutes of this one. And he'd be busy stopping the blast from Brendan Ranford before his teammates could clear the rebound. Elson tries again to get the Rebels on the board late, but Kozin gets the right leg out to kick the puck aside. Elson then fires from the point. Yet again, Kozin makes the save, then covers up the rebound. The Blazers remain unbeaten in regulation with a 4-0 victory.
Oh, I didn't think it was very good. I just thought we were flat. We knew going into the game they're at the top of the league for a reason. They've got a good hockey team, and if we had any chance, we were going to have to outwork them. And I didn't think we did that tonight. We didn't move our feet. We didn't win enough battles. We didn't generate enough. And going into the third period, we end up shooting ourselves in the foot. You take 4 minor penalties, and we allowed them to score easily. Every goal that they scored was off a mental error, a soft breakdown, so just wasn't good enough.
We were really soft out there. We didn't move our feet. We didn't lay the body. We created no forecheck. It was just a soft game on our part, and we got to get back to what we know what we can do because we're not the most skilled team. We have to be able to work teams to the ground, be a work-hard team, and be gritty out there, and we didn't do that tonight.
Game data brought to you by 247reddeer.ca. Another outstanding effort by this Kamloops Blazers team, which features 2 of the highest scoring players in all of the Canadian Hockey League. After that tough home ice loss, the Rebels looked to rebound here at the NMAC Centrium Friday night as they hosted a division rival, the Kootenay Ice. Riley Boomgarden playing just his 3rd game of the season as the Rebs don their 3rd jerseys for the first time this year. Brooks Maxwell gets a great scoring chance early, but Mackenzie Skavsky in net for Kootenay rises up to snag that one. Jaden Deschanel thinks he's got plenty of room to cut across the Rebels' blue line until Matthew Dumba says otherwise. A hellacious blast from the hard-hitting blue liner. Deschanel crumpled over on his way to the bench, but he would return. Christian Stockel looks for the game's opening goal, but fires it right into the logo on Skavsky's sweater. Sam Reinhart sets up John Martin, but his long point shot is turned aside by Patrick Bartosak. Matt Bellerive shows his physical side by belting Mike Simpson in the corner. Deschanel back on the ice in the second period, leans into one that Bartosak steers away. Bellerive with another big hit as he gives Matt Thomas a seat behind his own net. Rebels charge hard toward the net, but McCoy can't finish off this scoring chance. Point shot from Tanner Muth. Rebound goes high in the air. Bartosak swipes at it. Brock Montgomery can't find the rebound. Connor Bleakley's backhand shot is stopped. Brooks Maxwell almost puts home the rebound, but the puck bounces over his stick. Drew Cherwonka knifes a backhander that Bartosak calmly snags out of midair. Skapski says, I can do that too, as he picks off Turner Elson's point blast. Still scoreless in the third period when the long-range dump-in takes a lucky bounce for the Rebels. Skapski gets caught out of position. Matt Bellery from along the goal line finds the back of the net. That's his third of the season, giving the Rebels a 1-0 lead. Earlier, Brooks Maxwell missed Connor Bleakley's rebound. This time, it's the opposite as they miss another scoring chance. Montgomery shoots, Bartosak stops, then foils Reinhart to preserve the lead. Then it's Jagger Dirk charging in. Pass out front to Eric Benoit, but he can't capitalize. But Kootenay does manage to tie it with less than 5 minutes remaining. Luke Philp beats Bartosak glove side. 1-1 is the score. Sam Reinhart splits the Rebels' defense and shoots, but Bartosak holds the fort to send this one to overtime. In the opening minute, Reinhart steals the puck. His deke goes wide, but he gets it over to Deschanel, who tucks home the game winner. Heartbreak for the Rebels, elation for the Ice as they win 2-1.
It's just an awful way to lose a hockey game. The last 2 goals, we just gift wrapped them 2 goals, and you know we had full control of the game in the third period. You get the go-ahead goal, and it's just taking care of the puck. We've been harping on it, we've been stressing it, and it's. I mean, we just turned 2 pucks over, just soft, casual, awful turnovers, and you can't play that way. You can't play that way.
Tough home ice loss for the Rebels. They kept it scoreless for over 2 periods. Heartbreak in overtime as Deschanel gets the game winner. 2 nights later, the Rebels and Ice did battle once again, this time in Cranbrook. Here's how that one turned out.
Kicked around by the Ice, around the Rebel net, pushed to the boards by Red Deer. Deschanel, right corner, time to make a play. Threw it in the crease area, scores! Rebound goal! You betcha, the rookie, Colin Shirley. Weaving a little bit deeper, but forced to the corner. Backhand shot, dangerous rebound, comes in the slot. Ice converge on that and come to center, 2-on-2 with Deschanel and Dirk. Deschanel, screen shot, scores! Jaden Deschanel! Defenseman Pochuk on it next, leaves it there to the slot. Blocked by Leach, comes to Pochuk in a dangerous spot, scores! Red Deer defenseman Pochuk on a loose puck in the slot will beat Hofflin on the stick side. Ice are changing, Rebels got a 5-on-2 across the blue line. Backhand play to the net, save, rebound, they'll score! Breakdown there as Inglis will get an easy goal on a loose puck. Kootenay Street Cranbrook, interference to Hubick at 14:03, Rebel power play 1-for-1. Ness, Inglis, Bleakley out there. Fleury at the blue line. To Bleakley at the circle. Shot. Save, rebound, they score! Inglis with a rebound that Hofflin thought.
We were in need for a win, and it was huge to get 2 points. Coming after we lost it in overtime a couple nights before, we were really happy to get that win on the road. And I don't know, it was just a huge relief off all our shoulders. I know all the boys went out there, and that game really relaxed, and we played well.
You know, I thought it was probably our best game since we got back from our road trip. I thought it was our most complete game. We had a real good start to the game, and then they came after us in the second half of the first period, but I thought we did a good job of weathering the storm, so to speak, and regrouped in the second intermission, and I really liked the way we responded in the second. We had a great opportunity to even the game at 1. Didn't capitalize. They came down and scored a goal off a bit of a tough break, hit our defenseman's foot, and found ourselves down 2-0, but we didn't allow it to phase us. We just stayed composed, stayed relaxed, and dug our way back in. And I thought the second half of the hockey game, we just got better and better as it went on. And by the third period, I thought we really took over. So it was a gutsy effort. And I thought the biggest thing was we moved the puck real well last night. I thought we were just more relaxed. We were allowing ourselves to play rather than gripping our sticks.
After going cold over the past few games, Charles Inglis comes through big time with a pair of goals, including the game winner. Patrick Bartosak was outstanding and was named the game's first star. Inglis' 2-goal effort put him alone atop the Rebels scoring chart. Matt Bellery continues to impress and is just 1 point back. In taking 3 points from the ice, the Rebels find themselves in 3rd place in the Central Division behind front-running Calgary and Edmonton. Plenty of home cooking for the Rebels this week with 3 home games on tap. Tuesday night, they welcome the Regina Pats to the NMAX Centrium. Friday night, Kelowna comes calling. And Saturday, the Calgary Hitmen are back in town. Tickets are available through Ticketmaster. If you can't make it down to the Centrium, you can catch every Rebels broadcast live on 106.7 The Drive. Well, it just wouldn't be a proper episode of Southside Dodge Rebels this week if we didn't have some more trades to tell you about. 2 more deals going down in the past week. One of them involving another Rebels veteran, as GM Brent Sutter shipped out Colton Mayer along with Stephen Hack to the Regina Pats in exchange for a pair of draft picks.
You know, Hack had been reassigned to Junior A. We had some guys that we felt had passed him. He was here kind of as our 9th defenseman, so we wanted to get him back playing. He went to Junior A, and ultimately we had an opportunity to find him somewhere in the league. So Brent moved him on, and Mayo was in a similar situation. He wasn't happy with where he was on our depth chart, and he had an average training camp. We had expectations for him coming in, and he didn't have a great training camp and just wasn't able to get going, and he felt a change was in order, and Brent was able to make that happen. At the end of the day, the reality is we felt we had 9 wingers or 9 forwards up front that had all earned the right to play ahead of him. And Mayo's a talented kid. He's very skilled. He's not a 4th line guy, and he's not really suited to that role. So we weren't able to make room for him to take any of those top 6 wingers out of their position to allow him to play there. So he ended up being the odd guy out.
The Rebels' second trade of this past week took place on Sunday as Sutter acquired Brady Godet, an 18-year-old defenseman from the Kamloops Blazers, in exchange for a 3rd-round Bantam pick in the 2013 draft. Godet is in his 3rd year in the WHL and was the Blazers' 1st-round 10th overall pick in the 09 Bantam draft. He has played in 117 games with the Blazers, scoring 7 goals, adding 27 assists. Godet has also played in 11 playoff games and has 3 points.
In the WHL, obviously, played in my 3rd year now, and you see things like this happen all the time. So obviously when it happens to you, it's a surprise. But when I heard it was Red Deer, it was a sigh of relief, to be honest. I mean, we were just here a week ago, and just the city, it's a gorgeous place. I mean, this rink, it's quite the facility, things like that. Has a pretty good reputation here in Red Deer, this team and whatnot. So I was pretty excited about it.
He's a guy that we've had our eye on for a little while here, and still a young guy in the league. He's going into his 3rd season, but he's been a little bit buried in Kamloops on a good team, and buried on the depth chart a little bit, but was a very, very high-end bantam, and we think he's a guy that can really flourish given a fresh opportunity. So he skates very well. He's a puck-moving guy, very intelligent, and makes a real good first pass, so we're excited to add him to our group for sure.
Did we say 2 trades? Well, we meant 3, because on Monday morning, the Rebels dealt forward Chad Robinson to the Brandon Wheat Kings in exchange for a conditional draft pick. Robinson left the team on his own terms late last week due to his dissatisfaction with his place on the current roster. The Rebels sent him home awaiting a trade or reassignment, and on Monday it came down. Robinson, the good thing for him, he gets to play for his hometown team in Brandon, Manitoba. Coming up after the break, we chat one-on-one with Greg Meacham of the Red Deer Advocate. A bit later on, we also go behind the scenes with Hayden Fleury and Brandon Underwood. And later on, Jared Waldo goes in the corners.
Southside Dodge Chrysler Jeep and RV Center is proud to serve Central Alberta. 100% satisfaction, friendly salespeople, and excellent customer service. Southside Dodge, home of the $10,000 giveaway. Complete Athlete in Sylvan Lake is Central Alberta's #1 hockey training facility, boasting one of the world's largest skating treadmills and stick handling platforms. Learn, train, perform. Complete Athlete in Sylvan Lake.
Hi everyone, Jack here at 360 Fitness Personal Training. If you're looking to lose weight, burn fat, and just feel great in your clothes again, 360 Fitness can get you there. Work one-on-one with our trainers to get you in the best shape of your life. Get results or your money back.
Well, there's no one in Red Deer who's covered the Rebels as long or as in depth as Greg Meacham of the Red Deer Advocate. We're thrilled to have him on the show finally. Greg, thanks for doing this, and maybe just in a nutshell, offer us your opinion on what you've seen from this Rebels hockey club so far this year.
Well, it's been a real up and down season for the team. I mean, for some reason, they seem to play their best hockey on the road, and which doesn't always go over well with the fans at home here. They like to see some of that hockey themselves. So it's been lots of changes. Brent Sutter, when he came back, he didn't like what he saw through the preseason. The team went winless in, I think it was 6 games, and then started the season 0-3. He realized there had to be changes made because he's looking to build a competitive team for down the road, maybe a year or 2 down the road. So there's been lots of changes, and some nights the team, I guess, because we haven't seen a lot of the road games, they look pretty good, and then there's other nights here where they really stumble, like last Friday's game when in the overtime loss to Kootenay was maybe one of the worst games they played all year. So they had trouble playing basic 101 hockey, completing passes or finding the open men when there was somebody there. So yeah, it's been an up and down type of year, and maybe they get it going. Maybe they've got it going now with last night's win in Cranbrook.
Well, we'll see how it turns out, but you mentioned how the fans must be feeling somewhat frustrated because when the Rebels go away from the NMAX Centurion, they manage to play well and win games, but so far, for whatever reason, Greg, they haven't been able to get it going here on home ice.
Yeah, and I don't, you know why that is. Of course, that's the big question. I think maybe they're a little tight playing at home here, and once again, why is that? That is a real puzzle, but that was quite obvious, I thought, the other night against Kootenay, where they just they seem to be uptight, maybe gripping the sticks a little too tightly, and it's hard to play hockey that way unless you relax and have fun.
Well, I guess the flip side of that then is that with them racking up a good number of points on the road, that this team is capable of playing good hockey when it wants to.
Sure, and I think maybe that's, according to Jesse Wallen, the head coach, the boys did relax last night, Sunday night, and that was the reason that they won, and maybe they can bring that back home for Tuesday's game against Regina.
You touched on all the wheeling and dealing, Greg, that Brent Sutter's done since his return to the hockey club on a full-time basis. Can you put into words just the impact that that's had? Obviously, everybody was expecting a big impact when Brent came back on a day-to-day basis, and he's following through with just a ton of wheeling and dealing.
Well, yeah, and you know, he does have a plan in place, but at the same time, maybe that does make the players a little bit nervous, wondering if they're going to be next to go. But I think they just have to forget about that and just go out and play hockey. And if he likes what he sees, I mean, they're not going anywhere, the players. So once again, they just have to go out and relax and have fun.
Overall, what do you think about the players that he's brought in, the likes of Brandon Underwood and Matt Bellery, who's put up a lot of points so far this year? It's almost too many guys that are new to this team that you can name off the top of your head, but just your thoughts on who's come in now.
Yeah, well, Underwood obviously added some experience, which they needed, to the back end, and some leadership. He's been in the league now for a few years. And Bellery has come in and added some talent, you know, up front, which is another element that they needed. Who else has come in this year? Remind me again. There's been so many.
Well, that's just it. A ton of new bodies, and obviously the big profile trade so far was the Cambites deal, which they brought in Christian Stockel, and he put up some points right away too.
Yeah, and he's a player that Saskatoon obviously didn't think was ready to play yet for, you know, a team that is going for everything this season. So, and he'll probably be a good player here, like maybe through the rest of the season and down the road, which is what Brent was looking for. So.
Greg, thanks for doing this.
Yeah, not a problem. Thanks for having me on.
Greg Meacham of the Red Deer Advocate. You can read his coverage of Rebels hockey all season long, every day in the Red Deer Advocate newspaper. Plenty of new faces along the Red Deer Rebels blue line this year, including Hayden Fleury and Brandon Underwood. With more on those two, here's Wally.
He'll dump it in as he gets hit by Underwood, puck behind the Rebel goal.
He was acquired by the Red Deer Rebels for a couple of different reasons: size, grit, and experience. But it's that last attribute that makes 20-year-old Brandon Underwood so valuable to the Rebels right now. The overage defenseman was brought over from the Regina Pats to help mentor a young blue line, specifically youngster Hayden Fleury. Underwood's taken the role seriously since arriving in Red Deer a few weeks ago.
When you come in, you don't really know too much about the league, and just stuff you learn from older guys, like just coming in every day and working hard and just learning things, you know, not even about hockey, just stuff away from the game. And I think it's huge. I mean, obviously as an older guy, you're looked upon, you know, whether you like it or not. And, you know, I embrace it, and I think it's huge. And, you know, for Hayden, I think he's got a bright future ahead of him, and any way I can help him, that's what I'm going to do.
Underwood and Fleury have been paired up since day one of Underwood's arrival with the club. The grizzled veteran of over 200 WHL games has enjoyed playing with the 16-year-old rookie so far.
When I came in, Mr. Sutter told me about I'd be playing with Hayden, and so far it's been good. I mean, he's a really skilled young kid. He's got a lot of skills for his age. He's got a good base of talent, and I think we've played pretty well together so far.
For his part, Fleury has enjoyed playing with Underwood, and the two seem to have found a nice balance together as a tandem, something the younger D-man feels has helped him out this season.
He's really good to have back there. You know, he kind of keeps me calm and patient. When I get too riled up, he's always just telling me, just keep it even keel, and I really like it.
It's the finer details of the game that Fleury is grateful to have an older player like Underwood around for. In a close game, in the heat of the moment, Fleury says that having his partner to keep him grounded is huge.
I haven't had that in-game experience like he has, so like late in games, 5 minutes left, he's always telling me what to do, just keep it simple. I feel more confident with the puck. I can skate it and be more offensive because I know he'll always be back and supporting me.
With Underwood's WHL career coming to an end following this season and Fleury's ascending quickly, the veteran D-man knows that the Rebels' back end will be in good hands with the rookie at the helm, noting he's improved already since the start of the year.
From the first game, I think he's improved a lot. He's got a lot of confidence, I think, already since when I came here. It's improved, and he's a good skater. He's not afraid to skate the puck. I think that's what he's actually been doing that a lot. Especially last game, he had a few good rushes. So I think with being a young guy, a lot of it is confidence, and I think his confidence is coming along, and I think it's just going to get better.
For Rebels This Week, I'm Jared Waldo.
Time now for our latest installment of Train Like a Rebel. This time we check in with Captain Turner Elson as he takes us through using free weights.
This week on Train Like a Rebel, we're going to talk about free weights and how they are important for us on the ice as well. We do bench is really important for us because when you're in corners with guys like big guys, you got to be able to push them around. So you use your upper body strength to really push them around and be able to move around bigger players. And for upper body, you do need a little bit stronger upper body for a good shot to be able to put the puck in the net with a little bit of force.
Coming up after the break, Jared Waldo goes in the corners. We've got another installment of Skill Zone, and we go around the Western Hockey League. Hey Red Deer Rebels fans, have we got the show for you? Southside Dodge Rebels This Week is your #1 source for everything Rebels. Highlights, interviews, stats, and exclusive behind-the-scenes features brought to you each and every week by those who have their eye on the Rebels all season long. Southside Dodge Rebels This Week, weeknights on Shaw TV. Welcome back. Time once again for our weekly installment of In the Corners. Here's Jared Waldo.
More player personnel changes continue to be made in Rebel Land as Brent Sutter continues to mold this team for now and for the future in his image. But once the player personnel moves are finally ended, what happens next? This team has undergone big turnover since last season in terms of the roster, and once these changes are made, the questions continue to be asked, what happens next with the head coach? Now, I'm not suggesting that Jesse Wallen is on his way out. Certainly that's not the case, but after the players are changed and strategies are, altered and whatever the case may be, the question comes down to who is held responsible if a new set of players can't get the job done on the ice. There's the old cliche, it's easier to get rid of one man than 23 players on the ice, although Brent Sutter will have you believe that maybe he can move the entire roster. But if Jesse Wallen can't continue to get the job done with this club, is his job on the line? And at what point does that become a viable option that Brent Sutter at least exercises and looks at? Now, I don't think that Jesse Wallen is going anywhere, and I think if there's anybody within this organization that has Wallen's back, that is the GM. But the question has to be asked, how far can this team fall or be inconsistent before those thoughts start to become at least options in Brent Sutter's head? For more from me, check out my blog and this topic at rebelrebellion.com.
This week on Skill Zone, Jim from Complete Athlete in Sylvan Lake takes us through skating using crossovers.
Hey, it's Jim from Complete Athlete. This week on the Skill Zone, we're going to talk about crossovers. Not only used to turn, but to build speed and create excitement to your game. Crossovers in hockey allow an athlete not only to turn, but to build speed. Athletes must be good on all three edges. That is the flat, the inside, and the outside edges. As you'll see, the athlete must be balanced on the force lock to ensure proper crossover is performed. In this next drill, specifically designed for the treadmill, the athlete is to hold onto the bar while his feet are doing crossovers on the outside of his body. He uses both edges of his feet to keep very balanced, the inside edge of the outside foot and the outside edge of the inside foot. More information on crossovers of the skating treadmill can be found on completeathlete.ca.
Time now for news and notes from around the Western Hockey League. The Calgary Hitmen have promoted assistant coach Brent Kissio to the role of associate coach. Now in his 6th season with the Hitmen, Brent joined the club in 2007 as a video coach and assistant, and after 4 successful seasons with the University of Nebraska-Omaha, where he played for the Mavericks. Brent is also the son of Hitmen general manager Kelly Kissio. The Vimeo CHL Ultimate Fan Contest is back this year. They'll be holding Ultimate Fan Appreciation Nights in 40 CHL cities between October 23rd and December 12th. And they'll provide one lucky fan from the OHL, WHL, and the Quebec Major Junior League with a trip for 2 to the 2013 MasterCard Memorial Cup in Saskatoon. The first Fan Appreciation Night actually takes place at the NMAX Centrium Tuesday during their game versus Regina. There was a recent trade in the Western Hockey League involving a Red Deer minor hockey graduate. The Prince George Cougars acquired 19-year-old netminder Mac Engel from the Spokane Chiefs in exchange for a 4th-round 2014 Bantam pick. Engel is entering his 3rd full season in the league and has a career record of 42, 28, 3-4 in 88 career appearances, all of them with Spokane. His career goals against average sits at .256 and has a save percentage of .899. In 2010-2011, Engel finished with the 2nd best goals against average in the Western Hockey League with a total of .230. In 2010, Engel helped lead Red Deer to the Alberta Midget Hockey League Championship with a 6-0 record during the playoffs. This past week at a press conference in Calgary, the WHL unveiled its Team Alberta and Team BC rosters for the upcoming Western Canada U16 Challenge Cup in Calgary. The press conference featured Matthew Dumba, who played for Team Alberta in the inaugural edition of this event back in Blackfalds 3 years ago. It also featured Bryce Thoma. The Rebels' assistant coach is the head coach for Team Alberta, and it's a challenge he's quite looking forward to.
A lot different than, being with the Rebels. It's a short-term competition where we only have these guys for 6 days, 4 games in 4 days, and it's a tight time frame. It's a lot of work to prepare for that through the course of the summer months and the last couple of weeks. But in terms of gaining experience as a head coach and being in a short-term competition, it gives you that.
Thoma won't be the only member of the Rebels organization taking part. A total of 7 Rebels prospects will be playing. 4 of them for Team Alberta, defenseman Austin Strand and forwards Grayson Polinchuk, Braden Burke, and Mason McCarty. 2 Rebels will be playing for Team BC, goalie Taz Berman and forward Adam Musil. Forward Meyer Nell will suit up for Team Manitoba. The Western U16 Challenge Cup takes place at Father David Bauer Arena in Calgary, November 1st through 4th. An annual Rebels tradition continued here at the NMAX Centrium this past Friday with the annual Red Deer Advocate post-game skate. There you go, bud. That'll about do it for this week's show, but not before we leave you with the Western Hockey League Plays of the Week featuring some great music from Red Deer's own Diesel May. Once again, check us out online at rebelsthisweek.com. We'll see you next time.
On the breakout here. Collins hit, goes around Tanner Moore. Drop pass, Ranford. Ranford, LaPont,
And pulling up is Josh Nichols to Camlights at the side of the net. Back for Nichols, and what a save in there by Merrick Langhammer. Great play by the Wolves.
Come ahead, angling his way across the left greater line. Now low, looks to center. He scored! Oh, baby! Am I dreaming? What a pass by Morgan Riley! Team to team, be ready!
Hickman's in front. Rose in the slot for Lipsburg. Back to Rose on the far side. Scores! Second night of the season. Cutting across the front of the goal for Tri-Cities, and they score! Connor Rankin.
Good hard hit by Bellerive on Besenius. Gets the crowd.
One might come now. Lead pass LaPont. Oh!
Great pace, a nice move on Corbin, throws it in front. Oh, Brossois.
Grabs it over for Bertrand, back for Howard, like a chance. Stick save made by Eric Comrie.
Oh, and looks like Branson in stride. Gains his own. He's in alone. Branson scores!
Corner over. In front, the shot!